Hey, Podnutzians, welcome to Android App Addicts, episode 552. This is a show all about Android hardware, Android software, operating systems, mobile development, mobile news, and things that we just want to bring to the show. This week's episode is brought to you by our Patreon member, JB McDaniel, aka McDizzle. He was a proud Patreon supporter all during 2016. Thank you very much for your support there, JB, and thanks everyone who goes to patreon.com/Android App Addicts. You enable us to not have to stop communicating for half an hour at a time and then tell you about mattresses, sell gold, buy seeds, or anything else in between. This week we are joined from New Zealand by Ivor and Can Do Adia by Josh. How's everything going, Josh?
It's going well, Door. Long time no see. I was telling you guys earlier, I played squash for the first time yesterday, and I am not young, and I'm feeling it. And my back is sore, my elbow's sore, my legs are sore, feet are sore. Pride is a bit sore as well. So I got that going for me. And we have a friend staying here. It's actually it's Thanksgiving this weekend up in Scandinavia. And so we were going to have a bunch of people over. And he brought his e-bike, which is a pedal-assisted electric bike. And I took it out for a spin today. And wow, that is fun.
Okay, well, first, for the ignorant American folk, what is the closest thing you can compare squash to?
Well, that's a bit redundant on your part, Door. Ignorant American folk.
I was going to say, I'm so ignorant, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Squash is racquetball. I mean, it's a racquetball court. It's a bit shorter, apparently. The rackets are longer, and the squash balls are black, and they're smaller, and they don't bounce as much as a racquetball. And for a guy with limited sight, well, you understand where I'm coming from there. Take off the glasses and put on the goggles, and that little black ball sort of goes away sometimes. So it was a bit difficult to try to see where it went, or if it was above a line or under a line. So it was fun, but man, I need to. I don't know what I need to do, but I am sore.
Well, and I had to ask, do you know how fast that the e-bike went? Because I'll say here in the US, each, I believe, state has different limits, but it's hard to find an e-bike in the states to go over, I want to say 30 miles an hour.
This one has a governor on it, which I believe is 32 or 35 kilometers an hour, but it doesn't have a throttle or anything. So basically it's pedal assist. So you must be pedaling in order for the motor to kick in. So you can't just ride it like a motorcycle. But holy smokes, just going up a hill. I rode up to our post office, which is uphill both ways in the snow, tree roots for breakfast, stuff like that. And usually I get back from there and I've worked up a pretty good sweat and just nothing. It's just no sweat, no problem. It was fantastic.
Yeah, e-bikes are slowly, I think, becoming popular. 35 kilometers per hour converts to about 21 miles an hour here. I will say, if you're not careful, they're insanely expensive. You can literally get a conversion kit and take any bike and convert it to an e-bike for marginally less, is what I'll say. But we can't ignore Ivor. How's everything going, man?
Good, thanks, Dor. A friend of mine actually had an e-bike, and the first time he rode it, he broke his leg. Ended up 6 weeks in hospital. Consider yourself lucky. So yeah, last night we had a severe storm, and we lost power about 3 or 4 times. And I discovered the disadvantage of having a Wi-Fi controlled lamp next to my bed at 4 o'clock in the morning when the power goes off and then suddenly comes back on again. Your lamp starts flashing because it wants to be reconnected to the Wi-Fi. So yeah, that was fun trying to sort that out at 4 o'clock in the morning with eyes like pinholes. But yeah, so I didn't get much sleep last night. Apart from that, it's all good.
It doesn't connect automatically?
No. Well, I don't know why, but it just sits there flashing, asks you and wants you to reconnect it to the Wi-Fi. I don't know why.
I will say I did see an article today. I did not bookmark it. It basically said something to the effect of IoT devices will be the cancer of the internet in the next decade. And it's because what's the likelihood a internet enabled light will die in the next 2 or 3 years? You know, these bulbs we have now, some of them will literally last a decade. Well, unfortunately, that means their software won't be upgraded for a decade. So, you know, we're going to have to learn to live with them, is what I'm going to say, if you allow that stuff in your house.
Well, my wife was less than impressed, I have to say.
I understand completely. My wife has been complaining about her alarm clock because I don't even care. But I don't have an alarm clock. But she can't see it. So I'm tempted to take an old Android device and give her it as a alarm clock so it's easily viewable, easily programmable alarm, blah, 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 blah. But I know through experience, it has to be a perfect experience or I will never hear the end of it. So I haven't made the switch over yet. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I will have everything 100% figured out because my logic is I have to be able to remotely check the alarm settings before I go to bed. I can't walk up, turn it on because then it's too bright to wake up. So I have to figure out how I can remotely check all the alarms on it and, you know, make sure that on the days that she's off, it does not go off, you know, or else.
You should couple it with a white noise generator or something like that and play the sound of a babbling brook.
Well, I'm pretty sure the dog out back just supplies enough noise for her. For 10 years straight, doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees out or if it's 10 degrees out, they put this dog out back all night and he literally barks from 1 a.m. till 8 a.m. every day.
I know an app, I believe it's called Bad Neighbor, that you could use for some counter fire.
I don't think the dog would care about the noise.
No, but the neighbors might.
I don't think we can do it loud enough. Wait, sorry. I don't think we can have the phone loud enough.
That's what speakers are for, Door.
I know, but it has to have spousal approval. I will say first off, do you guys have any Android, Google, IoT, mobile type news that you consider to be worthwhile talking about?
Well, I was particularly interested in the Microsoft launch of the new Neo and Duo. I thought probably we should spend some time talking about that.
Okay, well, first off, I cannot remember name wise which one is which one. I know that there's
the Neo is the larger one, the Duo is the smaller one.
Right, there's 3 devices. There's the Surface tablet, and then there's the Neo and the Duo.
Yeah. It's the Duo that's the phone, though. So we should probably talk about that.
Okay.
What'd you think of it?
Well, I think that I'm really happy that I called over a year ago and our first show of this year, my prediction was that Microsoft would come out with a complete Android operating system on a phone. I'm without sounding dumb, I'm happy that I was right. I'm unhappy.
You're pretty close.
Well,
pretty close.
No, I'm unhappy that they announced it, but they said it will not be available for over a year from now. I also do not believe the device will look like what it looks like, because to be that thin and to have any battery life at all is impossible. Technology is not going to change that fast. The device is going to be at least twice as thick. I don't see how when it's opened up like a book, it's actually going to be functionally usable. I also think the actual introduction video where the guy was talking about it, he ain't no Steve Jobs. Let's just say that, okay? It was amazing how much he was on drugs about himself. He could have convinced himself he was the Messiah the stuff he was saying. He was literally touting how the seam in the middle was one of the most important things for this phone's success. That it wasn't one screen, that it was two screens with a seam down the middle, that separation. It was actually comically hysterical how stupid he sounded to anyone who I feel was educated. Thus, I was utterly amused at how every journalist and every podcaster I heard, virtually every podcaster, kept saying how this is going to be such a fantastic device when it comes out. I firmly believe it's going to unbelievably flop when it comes out. Now,
Yeah. Well,
that doesn't mean it's not going to be a success to Microsoft, because they've sold, if you take a look at their last 3 devices, I want to say they've sold less than 10,000 combined, their last 3 devices. So as far as they're concerned, I'm sure it's going to be a fine success. But as far as the
those were
greater
all laptops, though, weren't they?
Oh, no,
Those were
I'm
all
talking-
laptops, though, weren't they? Weren't mobile.
no, their last 3 phones. The Kin was only
Oh,
sold
right.
for 3 months. It
Oh,
sold
yeah,
less
that
than
was terrible.
10,000. Yeah, and then the 2 before that sold less than, I want to say it was 100,000 combined.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be fine, but this is literally the Courier 3.0. This is the device that they actually had secretly in working back from 2012, 22.
Yeah, they started work on this 3 years ago. Yeah,
Oh, no. They started working on this thing 10 years ago. Don't let them fool you.
10 years ago.
Just Google search Microsoft Courier. It was at least 2012, if not earlier, when they first started the development of this. And the fact that it isn't coming out for a year, if anyone knows anything about phones, which apparently none of these tech journalists do, that means they've only been working on this exact device for less than 8 months. That's how it goes. It takes about 24 months, 18 to 24 months from conception to showroom floor. It's a year away, which means they've been working on this thing for less than a year. And yet these journalists think they've been working on it for 3 years, just to once again show how ignorant they are about the actual business.
I think they probably started working on it at the moment Samsung came out with the Fold.
Well, and we see how successful that is, don't we?
Exactly. Pricing is going to be hugely important. They try and charge like a Surface laptop, no one's going to buy it.
And they will. They want to be the next Apple.
Yep. I think it'll be quite big in the commercial market. They're not for the business market. But as for retail, probably won't be a big success there. I think they're doing the right thing, though, by bringing it out now so they give developers enough time to start building some apps.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I love you, Ivor. No. ZTE Axon M. This is using the exact same infrastructure as a phone that was released 3 years ago in 2016. ZTE released a dual screen phone, the exact same form and function, except 4 times thicker, is what I'll say. The code already exists. The code is already out there. Developers already know how to code for this. There's no reason to announce this a year earlier except for sheer incompetence, laziness, and begging for hype. That's all it is.
No one in America is buying a ZTE.
Well, and here's the thing. They did not. Well, nobody in the world is buying a ZTE. Let's just say that. But there's no way this is going to be successful in the enterprise because they never once touted the actual feature that the enterprise wants, and that is Active Directory integration. And if you don't know what that means, you don't know what an enterprise is, listeners, what I'll say. They didn't tout that once at all, which means there is not an enterprise infrastructure in the world that wants this device. Because if it doesn't support Active Directory, then they don't want it.
They did show, like in their promotional video, a woman using Microsoft Outlook on it. So I presume you could infer from that Active Directory is going to be included.
Why? I can install Outlook right now on my phone. That's the thing. There's nothing on that phone that's not available right now on Android.
Yep. Active Directory will be a big issue for them, and pricing. But I think it looks bloody good.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's sexy.
It looks really good. What do you think, Josh?
Yes, it's Microsoft. That's it. I'm done.
Who cares?
Yeah, well, and according to Wikipedia, the Microsoft Courier was first reported in 2008 and canceled in 2010.
And if you look at patents for the Microsoft Courier, it's eerily similar, except here's the obvious thing. The Microsoft Courier had one side of the inside being a color LCD screen, the other side being a touch sensitive e-ink pad where you could write on it. So, definitely not the same, but I'll say this, definitely influenced by the other one. And look, anybody who knows anything about technology from, I'll say 1979 up, if you know the name Grace Hopper, then you might understand technology. If you don't know the name Grace Hopper, I'm not going to listen to anybody's argument about anything technology driven whatsoever. But around the second to third generation is when companies start to comprehend what to do in order to make something actually successful. You have to see something in motion. You have to see something in the real world to actually start to understand what it's lacking or what it needs. And I did hear at least two people this week say from Microsoft insiders, this is technically their third generation of this folding device. The Courier was the first generation. There was a second generation around 2015, 2016 that got canceled. And then there was this one. So this is the third generation, which means it should at least have polish on it. But because they're relying on Google, they're literally like hugging Google in a corner and making out like this is a cheap high school dance. That means that they're literally relying on Google to not only supply them with a stable operating system, but encourage them to do their own special sauce to try to make this thing unique. Because I can tell you, every single screenshot I saw of this device from the actual Microsoft event, nothing looked unique. It looked exactly like screenshots I saw from the ZTE Axon M, I believe was the actual model number. And don't get me wrong, it looks sexy, but I'm not paying $1,000 for a device with a huge fat seam going down the middle.
Is that what? Have they come up with any pricing, any estimates?
No, but I mean, if you take a look at the Surface laptops, Yeah. And I mean, and they honestly, okay, look, this is 2019. We now know humans cannot multi-purpose. We cannot multitask. We cannot do multiple things at the same time. It is impossible. We can't. And when we think we can, we actually can't. That just means we have a little bit less attention to each individual thing. They actually tried to make it sound like because of this device, you could have your video conference going on here and look up things on this screen and never lose synchronicity. And they were literally pulling out crap buzzwords like that. To me, this is going to be comical. It's going to be people are going to, when they open it up, realize you can't really use the keyboard on this thing because it's not going to make any sense. You're going to have to one-handed pick which hand is your dominant hand, and you have to one finger swipe everything on the keyboard. That's how this thing's going to work. We've seen this before. So I hope enterprises buy a metric ton of these. So the second or third generation of them, their price might actually come down to a reasonable price. But
yeah. I think it's going to be at least 2 or 3 years before any regular person is going to be able to afford one secondhand, and by then they'll be out of date. So I don't see myself buying one of these for a long time.
Well, my question is, okay, is it possible a future of phones in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, that the majority of phones issued will not look like what we have today and will actually be what I call mutating phones, either folding.
I'll tell you what they will look like. They're going to sit on your wrist, and there's going to be a fold-out tablet on your wrist.
Oh, Jesus.
And you can turn it into a phone, and you can have a tablet on your wrist.
Nobody wants to do this.
Life will be wonderful.
Nobody wants to hold their wrist up to their ear. I'm pretty sure that.
I personally think that they're They're going to be integrated into the bottom of a shoe.
Well, that's Don Adams material there. There was one email I will say, and it was from Chuck Litchfield.
I was just going to bring that one up, Door.
Yeah, because here is another company trying to basically do something diametrically is the word I'll use, opposite, polar opposite is what I'll say from what Microsoft is doing with their folding Neo Duo, whatever you want to call it. And this is Essential, who I picked on for years because it's easy. I mean, come on. This is the guy who should have been the Me Too victim who should have been out of business and put in a jail cell for some of the stuff he did. But no, we all forgot about that. He tweeted on Twitter, on the Twitter, a look at the next version of the Essential phone. And it says, we've been working on a new device to reframe your perspective on mobile. It's now in early testing with our team outside the lab. Look forward to sharing more in the near future. I have no idea how to even describe what this phone looks like, except it looks like the size of like a paint swab from a home improvement store where you go in and it has like 4 or 5 colors of paint on it.
A swath. It looks like a remote. It looks like a TV remote control.
TV remote. Yeah.
Well, I would say maybe a skinny TV remote. But here's the thing. I will make fun of this because that's what I do. But I also wouldn't be shocked if this thing actually gets some traction. I mean, without sounding dumb, if you go back in time, people, you go back and listen to all the other Android related things, and they were making fun of the Samsung Note when it was first announced. And I'm the guy that said this is the future of phones. Just saying. Just saying. This thing, I look at it and I want to laugh, but then I stop and think, you know, that actually might be easier to handle. That actually might be easier to pocket. If the camera's good, I could see the camera weenies going hog wild over this thing. Do we really need a screen that's like, 1.5 inches, 2 inches wide? I don't know.
Well, I think it's a perfect length for Instagram and Twitter. So if you're a heavy Instagram and Twitter user, you can scroll up and down to your heart's content using this thing, and then you can turn it on its side to watch media. It's the thing is how much media is going to be produced in that aspect ratio. You're going to be looking at big black bars on both sides of the screen.
Well, talking about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or responsive design, or Android Studio and curtain, whatever. Things are designed in widgets in such a way that with responsive design, the form factor with length, height is becoming less restrictive to where as long as people code their things correctly, it should appear perfectly feasible on this form factor or the opposite side's form factor. I mean, the only thing I see extremely lacking on this phone is if you try to watch video on it. And here's the thing, make fun of whoever you want, but we all know people sit there and watch entire seasons of things on mobile devices.
I can't see that being functional for watching anything. Again, not with my eyesight. It would, like Ivor said. I mean, what's that? What's the ratio? 16:4? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
But
two things.
I don't see.
I hope it has an IR blaster. Sorry. I hope it has an IR blaster.
Really hope you're not holding.
So you can actually. So you can actually use it as a TV remote. And secondly, I hope they eventually. Or don't buy the first one. Well, wait for 6 to 9 months after it comes out, and they'll have a drastic price cut when nobody else buys them, and then you can and then you'll save about $200-300 when it comes out.
I thought I had seen somewhere else that the the color changes on the back as well.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm making that up. I was thinking of the late 80s, early 90s hypercolor shirts, maybe where you pick up the phone and the heat from your hand changes the color of or maybe the
How many of
bacteria
those
from
have
your
you got in your
hands.
wardrobe now, Josh? How many of those are sitting in your wardrobe?
I wish I did, Ivor. I wish I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, the worst I can say about this thing is it is interesting. But like the two things I don't see being useful on a device of this form factor is videos and games. And they're the only two ways that phone people know how to make money. So if those two mechanisms don't have a way to make money on such a device, I don't see how they're going to overcome that hurdle. I don't know.
Unless the phone would be used as a controller for a game that you play on a different screen. So you could Chromecast your game to a bigger screen and use the phone as a controller.
It's honestly close to the form factor of a Wiimote turned sideways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
There's some potential there.
I don't know. And I mean, I always want competition.
It's a good idea. Yeah, it's great. It's good to see this level of innovation coming back. You know, so many black candy bars, and now we're starting to see some real changes coming. Foldable phones and multiple screens. Fantastic.
Well, but I'm just shocked that he's still in business, because I thought after the thing that came out about him leaving Google and arrangement and, you know, whatever the allegations were, that he still can post this kind of thing and not have everyone go completely crazy on him. I don't know.
Check out Front Page Tech on YouTube. Front Page Tech did a great one on this on Andy Rubin. I didn't particularly agree with him, but if you check it out, it's worth watching.
Gotcha. I will say, here's a link I was going to post real quick to a Reddit thread, and it's because it's the only place I saw that reported this honestly, because everyone else kept going crazy about it. My wife even got a prompt on her Samsung Galaxy J7, I want to say is what she got, where it basically said that Zedge, ZEDGE was a malicious app. Well, it said potentially malicious app. And me being me, I knew Samsung, you slow, bro. You just slow. Because this was literally 24 hours after it was found out to be a malicious app. But then the malicious nature of it was the fact that the developer had libraries connected that they didn't realize were basically sold off to somebody else and then basically compromised. So in under 24 hours, they were able to recompile their application using cleaner libraries, republish them to Google Play, and be approved and be in the Google Play app. So all I had to do was literally go to Google Play. It was right there. Update, click update, reboot the phone, message went away. So I'm not saying don't believe a message on your phone if it says but that an app could be potentially malicious. What I will say, if you heard the app mentioned on this show, the odds are all you have to do is update the app and you have nothing to worry about. Zedge has become insanely ad heavy. I know that. I'm not stupid. But I've not found an app where you can easily go in, search for anything you want, wallpaper, ringtone, notification, or whatever, find what you're looking for, click a button, set it, exit the app, and be happy.
Yeah, it's not a fly-by-night app either. It's been in the Play Store for years. A lot of people use it. It's very well trusted. I would have no problems with keeping this on my phone.
Yeah, but I was happy that my wife actually asked me, because I'm the one that told her install Zedge if you want a new ringtone, and every couple months she finds something else that she likes. But then she asked me, should I worry about this? And I said, well, realistically, you don't have to. And I said, watch. And I just went to the App Store. I said, there's an update for it. So yes, the app did have something that was questionable going on. I click update, and there you go. The message is now gone. That easy.
Which
reminds me, Signal also needs an update. Sorry, Josh. Just reminded me that Signal needs an update as well. I posted something on Reddit forum about that. But if you're using Signal, you should update that app as soon as possible too.
The Zedge app, I didn't read anything into this. How or what type of malware?
None. It was potentially unwanted library that could help with adware, just more ads than the user expected. So it was nowhere remotely bad as what it could have been, is what I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah, do you remember what was going on with the Signal app there, Ivor? Because I cannot remember what it was.
It was something where the microphone could be taken over. Something to do with the sound. So basically, it would open a back door to the sound controls of your phone. That would then take over the phone as well. So it was just an added vulnerability to the phone. They picked it up pretty quickly, came out with an update pretty promptly, just like Zedge did. And all you need to do is update it. There's an update waiting in the Play Store. I think it came out on yesterday. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Just a lot of people use that for their secure signaling, for their secure messaging, and it's a bloody good app. So yeah.
I just realized something this week because I use Signal as my default messaging app, but others have Signal but don't use it as their default messaging app. So therefore, when I send them a text message from Signal, apparently it goes into the Signal app, but if their Signal app isn't running, it won't give them a notification sometimes. And so yeah, they get a lot of missed text messages that way. But if you long hold the send on the Signal, you can actually send it as a unsecure text message or SMS message. So then it goes directly to someone's default text message app.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I think because if you have Signal set as your default SMS app on your phone, it automatically sends SMS messages, unprotected, unencrypted SMS. Does that by default. And if someone is using Signal, then they will default to Signal message instead.
I don't think so. At least that's not what my experience has been, because it's been with several people that have Signal on their phone, but they don't use it regularly, and they don't actually get the text message I sent. And so then with the long press and sending it as an unencrypted message, it goes directly to their default messaging. So it's very helpful if someone doesn't, they have Signal but don't even use it. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I will say, if you crave privacy, if you crave anonymity, if you crave security, you should start by installing Signal and insist whoever you crave those abilities with to install the same app. Real quick, there's an update coming out. I don't know why Samsung phones are getting this first, except for, we love South Korea apparently, and apparently we don't love Hong Kong as much. But Samsung phones now work with Android Auto in quote unquote wireless mode. This has been on the brink of happening now for at least 3 or 4 months. But right now, if you want to use Android Auto in an Android Auto enabled device, you have to plug a USB cable up directly to the USB port supplied by the car provider. Well, now with some certain Samsung devices, and hopefully in the future with other devices, you'll be able to simply wirelessly connect to your car and have Android Auto appear on your in-dash system. The real reason, I'll say, when you plug up your phone via Android Auto, everything I can tell you is the cable is literally just there used to power the device. All of the GPS functionality gets offloaded to the car. All the wireless functionality can be offloaded to the car. All of the screen functionality is offloaded to the car. And almost all of the data is transferred then via Bluetooth. So the cable just ensures that you are not going to run out of power. I like the idea of having, right now it says Samsung Galaxy S8, S9, S10 phones, Note versions included, will now be able to use Android Auto without plugging anything in. I like the idea. This is what I'm going to say. I will have to wait till it's available for my devices to actually play with it, though. But I will say this also: the newest of the newest Android Auto is definitely 2 to 3 times better than what I've been using for the last year. I still despise it and hate it because of the limited nature of what apps I can run on it, but the navigation is friggin' glorious. It works really good.
So you're using Google Maps for the navigation?
Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My logic is
um,
I want to interact less with my phone and with the screen. Waze expects you to have more of a lean forward to interact with it. Report speed traps, report accidents, report obstacles in the road. I don't want to report anything. I want to drive as safe as I possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. The plugging it into the car, does that help with the overheating as well? Because I find my phone gets really, really hot when it's running Android Auto, doing Waze navigation, playing a podcast. And it sucks the battery. I'll lose about 20 to 25% battery in just a 15-minute trip.
I can tell you, even with cheaper cables, I never lose battery. The screen is always off. I'm pretty sure 99% of the heat put onto a phone is from the screen being turned on. The only time I have heat issues is when I hop in the car and it's literally like 98 degrees, and where I set my phone, it's like hot. That's the only time I have any kind of heat issues. When I had a mount and I would have Android Auto running on the device, I would almost always have overheating issues during the summertime.
Yeah, I'm really keen on upgrade because I've got an old stereo. We don't have a screen or anything in our car. I've been looking at aftermarket screens to put in with an Android system, but they're usually pretty expensive, or the cheap ones are really, really dodgy. It's really hard to know which one to go for. Does yours come with the car, or have you installed it later?
Yeah, I insisted to the wife when we got rear-ended on the Baltimore Key Bridge and had our car totaled, whatever car we bought, I don't care what it is, but it has to have Android Auto on it. The simple fact that it tells me when there's traffic, here's a faster route, saved my sanity enough that I insisted that it had that.
Yeah, my radio doesn't even have a headphone jack. It's an auxiliary port. It's still got a mini disc player in it. Which is one better than a cassette tape, I suppose. But
yeah.
I miss mini discs.
They're great.
Very
so
cool.
Where do they go, eh?
Yeah, I think that was they went the way of the Beta machine. Something to do with dodgy copyrights and patents, I think. We did get another email from Vineet. And it's, hello, podcast number 551 mentioned Cam Scanner as the scanning software for mobile phones. There's an alternative to that from Google. We have a scan option while creating a new document from Google Drive. I've used this a few times, and for me, it just does the work without any bells and whistles. I don't think I'm missing any feature of Cam Scanner while using this. What is your opinion on how the two stack up against each other? Below is a screenshot with the create options for Google Drive on Android. So thank you for the email, Finit. Have you guys used the scanning option for Google Drive?
Yes, I have. And I totally forgot about it last week when we were talking about this. It's actually a really good option. It's particularly because in the widget screen, you can create a shortcut which will basically take you straight to that scanning function in Google Drive. So you can just set that on your desktop and away you go. I prefer Evernote though, because Evernote, you can just point your camera at a document and it will automatically take the picture when it's ready to. It judges when's the optimal time to take the picture, and it does that automatically. So that's what I like about Evernote, but that is not free, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I also completely forgot about this. I do believe you have to already be in Google Drive and you have to hit like upload and then scan. I almost like the idea of just taking a picture and then having another application digest the picture. Um, I know when I used this in the past in Google Drive, it worked surprisingly good, is what I'm going to say. At the same token, you got to remember, okay, now let me first open up Google Drive and then click import or upload and then do it. So it's
No,
a very viable tool.
it's actually just under the new, the little plus in the corner.
Yeah,
And
that's the
then
create upload button.
yes, okay. Well, upload is in there as well, and then scan. I'm going to scan something right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie when I say it's the kind of thing that obviously Google put time into, but they haven't really advertised. Because I
Scan
will
your
say
butt,
it
Josh.
works well.
Scan your butt. Go on.
To be honest with you, I don't know what the difference with most of these, what the difference between scanning something and taking a picture of it is. Scanning
Post-processing.
turns it into a PDF. I don't know. There was one that I wish I could remember what it was, but it automatically detected the edge of the document and then scanned it that way versus having to get the document within a frame. Otherwise, I've never really had that great of luck scanning anything with a phone besides that app, which automatically detected the edges of the document. Sort of my bank up here, I have mobile deposit, and it does a pretty good job of detecting the edges of the check and then taking a picture of just the check. So I don't know what kind of technology they're using, but that would be, I think, ideal for a scanning app as well, which is neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's kind of how Cam Scanner works. You say you want to scan, you open up your camera, and you can see it actively detect the corners and edges of whatever you're trying to scan. I did scan a couple documents last week, and I will say I was pleasantly shocked again at how Cam Scanner worked. Cam Scanner is more of a workflow, is what I'll say, where Google is more of a let me scan it, upload it to my drive, and then I'll decide what to do with it later. Cam Scanner wants to be able to allow you to instantaneously scan it, save it as a contact, scan it, save it as a PDF, scan it, send it as an email, scan it, and perform these other tasks with it. It tries to be like an all-in-one solution. If all you need is data saved on your Google Drive in editable format, then it's really difficult to beat the Google Drive scanner.
And it's free. So that's another bonus.
Well, I think we need more words in our English language because it might be free of cost, but that's about all it's free from.
Yeah.
So Josh, do you have any apps you want to bring this week, or do you have any more news articles you want to talk about?
I don't have any news articles necessarily, but I do have an app which has the word cam in it, so I think it goes pretty well with what we're discussing. This one is called 1984 Cam. It's a VHS camcorder retro camera effects by FFFF Studios. Photography, 4.7 average reviews. Last updated October 9th, which I believe was yesterday in Canada. 5.7 megs in size, 50,000 plus installs. Current version 1.1.0. Requires Android 4.3 and up. And it's just a fun video recording. I sent Ivor a short video, which I made earlier. And it looks like it's from over-the-shoulder VHS camcorder.
Yep, it was The Walking Dead all over again.
We're coming for you, Barbara.
Might have been The Walking Brain Dead, but that's about it.
Yeah. Without sounding dumb, but this is kind of like deep fakes 0.25. Because like your goal is to try to like lie and say this is from the 80s, where I will say the icon they have epitomizes the 80s is what I want to say. I could definitely picture picking up a box and having a VHS tape, blank VHS tape, have that same like logo artwork on it.
Yeah, what was it? That was a specific brand. Was that Maxim or something like that? That brand of VHS tape.
It did begin with an M, I will say.
Maxell.
I think it was Maxell, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the kind of thing, if you are nostalgic and you want to create things that look nostalgic from the 80s, I think you've like found your sweet spot here. And right now it is completely free. If you wait, it is 99 cents, at least in the US.
As far as I'm concerned, I was a teenager at high school throughout the 80s, and the less I'm reminded of that period, the better.
So yeah, this is right up there with the Netflix series Stranger Things.
I tried to watch that.
Yeah, but you liked the video game.
It was very entertaining video game, yes.
And Red in the chat says Memorex for the VHS. And that does sound right.
Is it real or Memorex?
Oh, maybe we need a new podcast door, like jingles and slogans of the 80s.
Unfortunately, there is an end to them because there's only so many. One of my playlists I used to have on my old music device before I started consuming 36 hours of podcast a day. One of my playlists were literally nothing more than jingles and theme songs from shows and movies from the 80s. Everything from Chippendales, Rescue Rangers, DuckTales, including stuff from the 70s, Get Smart, What's Happening, Mama's Family, because, that was just good stuff.
Who's the Boss?
Yeah. Joan, I believe her name was. Yeah. Oh, Mona,
right.
She was from Soap too. Very good show.
And what's his name?
Tony
Danza.
I'm pretty sure they kept calling him Tony in every show because if they called him anything else, he wouldn't answer to it. Just saying.
That's why they call me Josh.
Yeah. I'm going to bring an app here, and I'm just going to bring this app because I have to bring this app, and I'm never going to talk about this app again. If you don't know, Call of Duty Mobile was literally released, I want to say less than 6 days ago. Call of Duty Mobile from Activision Publishing, mature 17 plus, does contain ads, does have in-app purchases, completely free to download, 4.7 reviews, 2,900,000 reviews. Updated September 30th, 2019, 74 megs in size, 10 million plus installs. Current version 1.0.8 requires 4.3 Android and up. Content rating mature 17 plus, blood and violence. We all love sex and violence. So the Muppets told us back in their first premiere pilot episode. Their permissions on the app is storage, microphone, Wi-Fi, photos, device app history, and quote unquote other access, like full network access. 2,905,053 plus reviews on this app. Call of Duty is pretty popular, is what I'm going to say. Apparently, I'm really personally, I'll just say, sick and tired of shooting people in a game. Sorry, I had to say that last part. I'm sick and tired of shooting people in a game. I don't care if dancing is involved or not. So I'm not going to download this. I'm not going to play this. I'm not going to let my kids download it. I'm not going to let my kids play this. But apparently 2+ million people are really okay with this. And if you like shooting and killing people, then you might be okay with this too.
You said you were just going to bring it and not talk about it anymore.
Mhm.
So I want to bring this one real quick. So I don't mean to take your turn, Ivor, but
That's quite
this
all right.
one, the description is, we hate to admit it, but we've all been there. It's just like another day in the office. Everything is going fine. You had that taco you like so much for lunch. You didn't get caught ditching work. Your social network statuses are all up to date, and you're about to get that promotion you've been dreaming about, when suddenly nature calls and it's urgent. Sweat starts dripping from your forehead. Your stomach is rumbling. Soon you're grunting, and then you realize that the nearest bathroom is all the way across the floor. It's Call of Doodie. Right.
Once again, Josh cements his reputation as the king of crap apps.
No, you're not shooting anyone.
I like how it says first person shitter.
Sorry, Door.
You're right. I was just trying to see if I could find a copy of it on the Google Play Store, and I can't. So you'll have to go to apkpure.com if you want to install Call of Duty. You just like saying duty.
I like reading about it too, apparently.
Yeah. Do you have any apps there, Ivor?
Yeah, sure do. This one is called SofaScore, and perhaps sitting on the sofa watching sport would be a much better activity for Josh rather than actually going out and playing it, because face it, none of us are getting any younger. SofaScore is a live results, fixtures, standings, basically every single sport you can imagine. It's got it covered for live results and information regarding that sport. It covers football, which is otherwise known as soccer in the US, basketball, ice hockey, tennis, motorsport. It's got Formula 1 2018, all sorts of superbike, NASCAR, rally, DTM, cricket, of course, baseball, rugby, American football, whatever that is, handball, volleyball, cycling, water polo, futsal, Aussie rules, snooker, darts, badminton, floorball, bandy. I have no idea what bandy is, but if you follow it, you can use this app. Table tennis and beach volleyball. So it covers tournaments, covers all the tournaments like the Major League Soccer, North American League, NBA, WNBA, US Open Cup, NFL, college football, MLB, NHL, AHL. It's got over 22 sports, all the leagues. And what I like particularly about this app is that it gives you a widget which does live updates when your team's playing. So I find this particularly great because I follow both the rugby team for the Rugby World Cup, and I'm following a English football team as well. And so I can get results for both those games in the one place, which is really good. Now, it's free with ads, but you can pay a subscription cost of $4 New Zealand dollars per year. That works out to $2.50 US, and that's an annual subscription. So, yeah, it works out to pennies a month. It's rated 4.8, last updated October 2nd, 10 million plus installs, content rating 3+, and the standard permissions as well. I really like this app. I know there are quite a few apps that provide live results and all that sort of stuff for sports, but I think this one does it particularly well.
I didn't hear basketball. Just saying.
Yeah, it's basketball. Yeah, it was the second one I said. Basketball.
Basketball.
What's basketball?
Basketball was a movie from the same people that made you Beavis and Buttheads. I will say, if I can't not tell you a sport that this thing does not cover. I will say it does have it does have ads and in-app purchases. So I will just say, if you, the viewer, are upset by ads, then maybe you should limit how many sports you want to follow, because if you need this app, dude, you're following a lot of sports, like a hell of a lot of sports, like a hell of a lot of sports.
Yep.
Water
gives
polo.
You a live TV
Who the hell follows water polo?
It gives you a TV schedule, so it'll tell you when your games are on TV locally, and it would link you through to the latest odds from Bet365. So if you want to bet on the games, you can as well. So I think it's basically an all-in-one shop.
So bandy it looks like it's ice hockey with a round ball instead of a puck. And just for clarification, basketball is the from the creators of South Park.
South Park.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm easily confused. But okay.
Yeah, it's both funny rubbish.
Dude. Yeah. Gotcha. Do you have any more apps there in your vault there, Josh?
I do. This one is a little bit less
poopy.
It's a little bit less poopy. It is an interesting concept. I mean, there's a lot of apps. Recently, I used a mushroom identification app as well to determine what type of mushrooms I wasn't going to eat. This one is called Spiders Identifier App by Photo Camera 2019, and it's early access. It's in beta by Mobile Minds Applications, and last updated September 27th, 2019, 10,000 plus installs. And it requires your camera, obviously, storage, regular stuff. And it is an identification for spiders, oddly enough, but it also has, it's kind of like a forum, I suppose, where you can send out the picture if it doesn't identify them, and it's kind of creating a network of arachnid nerds, I guess. And so there's, I don't know, I find it interesting. There's tons of spiders around and I have no idea what they are. So I used this to accurately determine a hobo spider and a cellar spider so far. So
here, one critical problem.
You have to
that means I got to get really close to it.
Well, this cat, the phone I have now has a 50 times zoom, so
I still think to get a good picture, you got to get close to it.
Yeah.
I was listening to some mental invalids today because my wife turned the radio on, and they tried to say what's creepier than a whale with feet and limbs. And I'm thinking to myself, spiders. What's wrong with you? How slow would a whale be with limbs instead of fins? I mean, I could easily walk up to it and kill it with my bare hands. It's a whale. It can't do nothing fast. A spider, on the other hand, spider can jump 6 or 8 feet. Spider has fangs. Spider has venom. Whale ain't got none of that. Whale has tasty blubber that millennia of people fed off of and survived off of.
Well, do either of you guys have dangerous spiders?
Yeah.
What do you
No.
got over
Brown
there?
recluse.
Okay.
Right on the front of my house.
So you got a recluse outside your house and one inside, huh?
I have lots of them. And I had a friend come over last week to work on my freezer, help me work my freezer because I needed confidence. I don't know what I'm doing. And he's in the house and he sits there and he sees a fly in front of my face and he says, "How the hell do you have a fly in your house?" And I said, "What?" He said, "You have like 1,000 spiders out on your front of your house. How do you have any flies in here?" I'm like, "I have no idea." But yeah, we have insane amounts of spiders here.
Does this only do Northern Hemisphere spiders or any spider around the world?
I'm not sure. I believe it is still in beta, so they're definitely trying to grow the catalog. I would say give it a try and let us know.
I just, man.
Yeah, we
look,
don't have any poisonous spiders here, so just big hairy ones sometimes that get a bit upset with you.
Wait, aren't you like right next to Australia?
Yep, and we
And
missed
you have
out. They got
nothing?
all the snakes and all the spiders, and we got nothing.
Nothing? Well, then it's safe to visit
Nothing.
New Zealand.
Yep, I'm not setting foot in Australia ever.
Yeah, that's crazy. Australia is nuts for that. I worked there for a little while. Didn't work there. I was helping somebody there for a while, and outside at this landscaping job, and I wasn't wearing gloves, and we were moving all these big blocks, and the guy said, "Oh, do you want some gloves?" I said, "Nah, I don't really like wearing gloves." He said, "Well, make sure you grab those blocks pretty stoutly." It's like, okay, well, why is that? He said, "Oh, I think it was redback spiders in the pile of blocks, and if you bite one, or if one bites you, you're going to the hospital." Oh, and if you want to grab them very heavily so that you smash any spiders instead of just wounding them or making them angry. So you still got that pair of gloves?
Yeah, our spiders are all pretty harmless here, and we don't have snakes either, so we're quite happy with that.
We have copperhead snakes around here too, which are equally venomous. And I will say Swift is in the Baltimore area. He said he found a nest of black widow spiders just northeast of Baltimore. Hey, guess what? I'm northeast of Baltimore. Fantastic. Thank you, Swift. I'm going to sleep good tonight. I had to bring another app because I got to talk about something else. I will say one of the 150 plus podcasts I subscribe to, one of the ones that I appreciate for its consistency is literally called it's literally just called Time from Time Magazine, Times the Brief, which they keep advertising you can subscribe to and get in your email. I don't know what year they think this is, but Times the Brief is a podcast, daily podcast, anywhere from like 10 to 40 minutes long. Here's an application on Android which tries to take some of the Times, the magazine content, and deliver it to you in more of a augmented reality type experience to where they want to drive home the facts, in air quotes, of their stories because they're the facts as they see them, but also giving you the same information in more of a augmented reality visual type atmosphere. And I will say I was pleasantly surprised at the amount of work that goes in to some of these images, but I will say expect far, far, far less content than anywhere from 10 to 40 minutes a day. Expect maybe 5 minutes of content a week because this content is not easy to make, create, or keep updated, is what I'll say. It was just interesting, is what I'll say. A different way to get your news, in air quotes, delivered to you, because I never took Time Magazine as being a news source, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I saw this app a little while ago and I was tempted to have a play with it, but I never really got around to testing it out fully. So have you spent any time on it?
Yes, but I'll say this: Time Immersive is the name of the app from Time Magazine. E for everyone, completely free to download. No in-app ads, no in-app purchases. 52 reviews, 3.0 average reviews. Total downloads is less than 5,000 installs. It says 5,000 plus. We all know it's 5,000 less than. Updated September 16, 2019, 63 megs in size. Current version 2.4.1 requires 8.0 Android or up. Content rating E for everyone. Permissions, it's going to need Wi-Fi, photos, microphone, camera, storage, and other. I did play with it. It, to be honest, was too slow of a experience for me to actually drone through. I'll just say I loaded it up. I swiped through some of the things and I thought, interesting. And then I closed the app again. ADD has made me quite impatient of these kinds of applications, is the way I'll put it. But I still found it interesting.
Yeah, I think it's the sort of thing you need a bit of free time to really get into. You find yourself in a cold, wet afternoon, lock yourself in your room and give this a go.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was cool.
Are there spiders in it?
Hope not. So do you have any more apps there in your tank, Josh?
I believe it is Ivor's turn, but I was going to do another email if you're all right with that.
Oh, I like emails.
So this one is
from
Michael Sanders. Hey guys, keep up the good work. That's why I'm reading it. It's very complimentary. The new co-hosts, Josh and Ivor, are working out well. Thank you. They know their Android stuff. Steve, as always, I appreciate all you do for AAA. Any of you wear smartwatches? The reason for asking is that maybe every other show, you all can bring some Android Wear OS apps. I have used an Android Wear OS smartwatch in the past, the ZTE Quartz or the ZTE Quartz. If I'm not mistaken, Eric, never forgotten, no kidding, started using the same smartwatch. However, currently I am using the Samsung Galaxy Watch and really like it, even though it runs Tizen OS. Anyway, just an idea about the Android Wear OS apps, Mike. Thank you for the email, Michael. You guys rocking?
Yeah, I'm glad he mentioned the Android Wear thing, because Android Wear is rapidly disappearing in the distance compared to Tizen, compared to all the other watches that are coming out. They seem to be all based on their own proprietary systems. The iWatch has taken over most of the market. So Android Wear is really struggling, particularly with battery life. It's really difficult to have an app that runs Android Wear and have it last more than a day. Or I can have this one's last 2 weeks. So it's a no-brainer.
Which one's that?
This is the Huawei Honor Magic.
And I still have the best hardware making company in the world, Lenovo fitness watch, basically. And so,
well, that's what people are going for, these lower market things that are cheap and cheerful and do the job, just provide the basics in terms of step counting and heart rate monitoring. Yeah, I think the days of apps on your watch are going until we manage to get the combined wrist tablet thing going.
The Rablet, if you will.
The Rablet, yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen really much compelling things happening in Wear OS. I will say, and I don't blame Google. This is not Google's fault. This is literally chip manufacturers not innovating enough, not bringing power consumption down, battery life up, and bringing out new chips every 18, 24, 36 months even. the advancement we've seen on portable devices, wearables, has been unbelievably monotonously slow, and I'm not sure why. If I did have an Android Wear O device, it would literally do nothing then except tell me when I have a email from people I call priorities. It would tell me just when I have a meeting coming, and it wouldn't really tell me much else. I wouldn't really use it for much else. So I don't have one. I've literally had 5 Wear OS devices because remember I'm old. I had Pebble devices, I had Asus devices, I had multiple devices. None of them to me did much that I found interesting. And when I did forget to put them on, hours later I realized I forgot to put them on, and then I realized I didn't miss the fact that I forgot to put them on. I don't know what it's going to take except for insane advancements in hardware like Ivor hinted at. I need something where the battery lasts for a week, not a day, not, 18 hours, but literally like a week, or else I'm not going to devote any time to it. I will say I am going to buy the Pine Time Lennox watch. It's only going to be $25, and it says it can only interface with Linux, but guess what? Everything on Linux is a text file, which means I can edit anything on the Pine Time, which means I can create custom things to interface with it, to which means I can literally have an application on my Huawei device monitoring the log file, parsing the log file, set and alking the log file, and then pushing stuff from the log file through to an API to my watch. So I'm going to buy a Pine Time watch, and it's going to work with an Android device. I don't care what they say because it's only $25. I can't beat it.
Yeah, it's a great price.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the hacker community will swarm like juggalos on drugs. I mean, it's going to be insane how hard the hackers are going to swarm on this thing. It's going to be like fictitious people on Facebook going to Area 51. I mean, you're going to literally have 1 million people want to buy this device on day one, and you'll literally have 10,000 of those people show up on day one, buy the device, and start hacking on it, which means me, number 10,001, will benefit from these extra quality hyper nerds who don't get out of their basement, whose beards smell funny, who will be programming stuff for this watch for me to partake in and utilize. And I'm okay with that.
Is there any release date or
Nope,
ETA?
not even
No.
close.
No.
You'll be lucky if it's February.
Is it on Kickstarter?
Nope. Oh, hell no, it ain't on no Kickstarter. No. This is Pine 64. This is a real company. This ain't people trying to scam your money. This is a real company.
You don't put juggalos
By the
on
way-
drugs on Kickstarter, Ivor.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
By the
they're
way,
coming
Juggalos
out-
on drugs, that's got to be a show title.
It's written down.
They are coming out with the Pine phone, the Pine tab, the Pine Time, and the Pinebook Pro. The Pinebook Pro just shipped in the last week. It's a ARM-based laptop, $200, easily worth $200. Then I believe the next one that's going to be released is the Pine Tab, which is a $100 tablet running pure Linux, not Android, which they expect to come out, I believe, in the next 2 months, maybe. After that, you have the Pine Phone and the Pine Time, which I think are going to come out somewhere around March to May for both of them. Because they're not, gouging people for money, you cannot expect these things to be expedited. There's a thing called the project management triangle in American economics, and that is when this triangle is presented to you, you as a consumer can only pick 2 of the 3 things you want. One of them is efficiency or price. The other one is timeliness or how quick something can be done, and the other one is quality or how high of a quality do you want. You can only pick 2 of these. So Pine people have decided we're going to try to do high quality and we're going to try to make it economically, which means it ain't going to be fast. You're going to wait. And there's nothing you can do about it except wait. Because I'm not comfortable with spending $1,000 for a phone. I'm not comfortable spending $300 for a watch. I'm not comfortable spending $500 for a tablet. So I'm going to wait, and I'm going to be okay waiting.
It sounds like you need another podcast called Pine Nuts.
If they would send me free stuff, I'm sure I would, but they're not.
I just has this vision of Door trying to open up a terminal on his watch.
What's this trying stuff?
It's not working.
Grep, damn you, grep.
Okay, so do you have any more apps left in your tank there, Ivor?
Yeah, I got one more. This one I found somewhere, I'm not sure where, I think just late night having a look on the App Store. And I posted it on our Podnutz Reddit forum, and the developer came back and said, hey, that's my app. So we've got a guy who's actually a developer looking at the Podnutz Reddit page. His name is Kem Yildiz, Yildiz. So this app, sorry, I will just put it in the chat. This app is called Earlynote. I really like the idea of this app. Basically, what you do with this one is you can create a message using a nice video or a picture or just a solid block of color, and you can send it to someone at a pre-programmed time. So you don't have to send it straight away. You send it to the other person. It could be on your wife's birthday or anniversary, or a friend you want to do something nice for them, and you're going to be away on holiday, so you can pre-program all these messages that you want to send out. And the creation process is very simple, very easy. You can just stick a picture and a short message on there. And the only thing that I'd say it has not going for it is the person who receives the message needs to have the app installed as well. And so when you first send the message, they will receive, you can send an email to them or a text message. When they get it, they will just receive a link to the app install page. And other than that, I think it's actually a really good idea. So the app's rated 4.1. It was last updated on September 29th. It has 500 installs. It's rated 3 and up, requires Android 5 and up. And there is in-app purchases of $1.59 or $3.99 per item. Again, that's in New Zealand dollars, so that works out to about $1.30, $1.25 US. So yeah, I thought that was quite a nice one. I'm planning to use that to send a message to my wife on our anniversary and on her birthday and see how it works.
I'll say it's a very interesting idea. I am saddened that the recipient has to have the app installed as well. It's not the end of the world. But I honestly like the idea of like, you could literally use this as like a game. One of their examples is like, tomorrow there's hypothetically a squash game going on, or a squash match, or a squash something.
I'm triggered.
You could say, well, this is what you could say, like, this is what I expect the score or the goal ratio or the whatever the hell it is in squash to be presented at the end of the game to decide whether the winner or the loser is. You could guesstimate what it is. You could predict what it's going to be. Send it today, and it will present itself tomorrow at the end of the squash pre-allotted game time thing would be. So I think it has a definite use case. I think if they pitch it right, this could be very successful.
Does it?
Yeah. Well,
does it show when the message was created?
I don't think so. No. One thing would be useful for is you can actually send messages to yourself as reminders. So if you know you have to do a certain thing at a certain time, you can send this message, set this message up to remind you when you need to, either the day before or at the time it's required, which is what a regular reminder app would do anyway. But I think this is a nice way of doing it.
What would be the benefit of doing that versus a calendar?
Well, you get a nice picture. to go with it. You can let your creative juices flow.
Okay.
Yep. Do you have any more in your tank there, Josh?
I do. I wanted to give a shout out to Scott Remick for an email that he sent as well about Huawei and Xiaomi. So Scott, I think I nailed it. If you want to send in another email and let us know. But I would also be interested in having Ivor and Door pronounce those.
Okay, so Huawei is pronounced Huawei, and Xiaomi is Xiaomi. I don't particularly mind. I understand what Door's talking about when he says "show me."
Well, Scott, I thank you for the email. B, I'm an ignorant American. I mean, without sounding dumb, we know this. And to be honest, me speaking in typical ignorant American speak just cements the fact that I'm not Chinese, I'm not world renowned, I'm not Brazilian, I'm not Can-Do-Adian, I'm not any of those things. So when I see a company that we're supposed to label as Show Me, and it's spelled Xiaomi, it confuses, to quote the people across the pond, bloody the hell out of me. It just confuses the bloody hell out of me, kind of thing. And then Huawei, when I look at my phone, I get it. I do get that one. Huawei. Huawei. It makes sense. But I'm a lazy American, so I pronounce it Huawei. Without sounding dumb, these are the kind of things I would literally have to sit down and practice. I don't have enough medication to practice these kinds of things, but it's really, I'll say this, insightful for me to at least be reminded of how inadequate I am when it comes to my pronunciation guide. So thank you.
Well, this is the whole reason that Huawei came up with the Honor brand, because it was easier for people like us to pronounce. Same
Makes
phones,
sense.
there's no difference.
Is that the same as the Honor brand?
The Honor brand, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did receive an email from Captain Zero about battery life and charge cycles, which is much appreciated as well. Basically, don't charge your phone all the way or let it run down all the way.
Well, I'll say this, the biggest thing, and this was the kind of thing that, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go years back on this one. If you listen to Droid Nation, which I want to say we did roughly around 2010, Ellis Owens, Jonathan Nadeau, Josh Knucklehead Tech, and myself. One of the things that Ellis Owens learned from speaking directly with developers was typically, and why typically, there's always exclusions from the rule, but most often, the quicker you charge a battery, A, the more you age the battery, and B, the quicker the battery will discharge over time. And so one of the things that Captain Zero said was secretly to a long battery lifespan is do not use the high speed charger. Yes, it is safe, but it is very hard on the battery. Gentle charging is much less harsh. If you gentle charge your device, always, you will have a much better battery life over the long run. If you have no choice and you must fast charge once a week, twice a week, go ahead and do it. But don't fast charge every day. You will literally shorten the lifespan of your device measurably, easily measurably. And yet these mental invalids on these other Android podcasts won't stop literally being titillated by fast charging and just talking about how awesome it is and how quick in a half an hour stuff happens, instead of actually letting the listener know you're literally damaging your device. don't do it unless you have to.
The other thing I heard was that if you let your phone go over 80% charge, it adds another cycle to the counter that your phone has, and it tells it that the battery needs replacing. So if you don't go up to 80%, or if you take it off at 80%, then it should last a bit longer. I'm personally experiencing this as well because I use fast charge every day. I've really hammered my battery, and it's starting to run out now. I mean, I used to get 2-day battery life when I first got it. Now it's a year old, and I'm getting 3/4 of a day before I have to charge it up again. So, and yeah, I fell into the trap. They do this deliberately, so you upgrade your phone after a year.
Yeah, and I will say, when you go over 80% battery charge, it's more difficult for your phone to get to 85 than it was for it to get from 70 to 75.
Yeah.
So unless you really need 100%, you really shouldn't go for 100%. We really every day should let our phones get down to 30% and then charge them at the end of the day. I, for one, have a very nasty habit of getting to work, plugging my phone in, and letting it stay at 100% 7 straight hours. That's not healthy. But neither is drinking
Did
beer.
he mention? Did he mention the effect of wireless charging? What impact that has on the battery?
No, but I will say this: the heat that is generated from wireless charging is not good. Period. You know, how to say that?
Yeah. The heat can't be good for it.
Yeah.
Apart from being inefficient as well.
Gotcha.
But yeah, thanks for the email, Captain Zero. That is good information.
Were there any more emails you want to go over, Josh? Were any
Yeah,
more?
there's a couple. I mean, Chuck, you outdid yourself, and we love you, brother. There is a phone that was very interesting in one of the emails he sent by Yumi Digi. I tried to put the link in the YouTube chat, but it was too long, so I made a tiny URL. But apparently, YouTube doesn't like that either. So, but it's the Yumi F2.
F2, yeah.
And
Can I
pretty.
just spend a minute talking about this, Josh?
Please.
So he was particularly wary about buying a phone off AliExpress. And I don't know if our listeners are familiar with AliExpress, but I had a very bad experience with them about a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago. What AliExpress do is, yeah, they have good pricing and they have these nice spec Chinese phones, but they have really bad refund and return processes. So what they told me, I had bought an Ukitel off them once, and it started going into boot loop, so I had to send it back. Because it has a lithium-ion battery in it, you may not know this with your phones, but if you're sending it back to China, it's going to have to go International Express courier because it's got a lithium-ion battery, and that's considered a hazardous substance. Can't be sent under a non-pressurized container. What AliExpress are telling me to do was to make a false customs declaration saying that this was an electronic good worth less than $20, when in fact it was an electronic good worth more than $150, and it would have attracted, and it did attract a customs duty. Now I refused to pay that customs duty. They wanted me to pay it, even though they had the option of not insisting on the return of the phone. They said at the beginning, we will not insist you return the phone. We will negotiate for a 50% immediate cash refund if anything goes wrong with the phone. That was a complete lie. They insisted on the return of the phone. I had to make about 3 or 4 videos and upload them to show them exactly what was going wrong and the procedures I was going through to fix the phone and why they weren't working. And they never watched the videos. They didn't see what the actual problem was. It was just a complete con from start to finish. And I would, sure, AliExpress, they have some nice phones and they can be cheap, but they will take months to be delivered, and you will suffer on the refund and return process.
It's not AliExpress, number one. That's like blaming eBay for stuff being sold on eBay. Everything on AliExpress, you literally have to do your due diligence and look at the seller and look at the history of the seller and review what that seller's performance is. When I look at this seller, for instance, of this phone, they literally only have, it was 470 orders, which in eBay would be like 47 orders. If you buy something from somebody from AliExpress with this rating, expect to not be happy, is what I'll say. Expect to spend, let's say, $40 or $50 and get $10 worth of a product. This brand might not be bad, but this seller is somebody I would not buy something from. With AliExpress, you have to be very aware of who you're buying from and their history. I've had tremendous buyings on AliExpress where I buy stuff and I literally get it in 5 days. And it literally comes off a boat from Hong Kong and I still get it in 5 days. And then I've had things where I buy on AliExpress and it takes me 4 months. And then what I get in the mail is a hat. And I most definitely did not buy a hat. So, you have to just be very wary. It's like walking into a flea market. Just because the flea market banner is from something you heard before, everybody at those individual tables are their own enterprising business. And you need to review everybody independently. But this device seems okay, not great, not good, just fine.
Yeah, I've bought 2 Umidigi phones, and they've been perfectly fine. Only thing I'd say about them is the camera is a bit bad and low light, but it may be different for different models. Nothing wrong at all with Umidigi, but because of this one experience I had with the Ukitel store on AliExpress, I will not buy anything off AliExpress ever again. Forget it, not happening. And Door's right. You have to be careful who you buy it from, just like on eBay or any other site. You have to be where, even Amazon, I think, if you buy stuff from different suppliers there, you can get ripped off. And it's just a law of averages or statistic until the one time you actually will get ripped off, and that's when you need to get the refund and return process right. And AliExpress does not have a refund and return process that's easy at all.
And that's where it would be really nice to have the company, the flea market banner supporting you as a consumer and not supporting you. AliExpress is, dare I say, notorious about not going out of their way to make customers happy.
And you're much better off with Banggood or GearBest. They have the same phones, equivalent pricing, better delivery times, and much better refund and return process.
Yeah, GearBest, I've been very pleasantly surprised with their stuff.
Yep.
I think I'll use that email as my tank door. Do you have any other apps?
I got just a couple quickies. The first link I'm going to have is to a Google Play link. The second link I'm going to have is to a YouTube video. And I don't often link to YouTube videos, I will say that. Is to a YouTube video from a guy named ETA Prime. What this is a Windows-based application for piracy. No better way I can put it. If you like being a pirate and getting emulators on your system, running cartridges and disk for games you don't have, and you run Windows as your main operating system, you need to check out LaunchBox, LaunchBox. LaunchBox by Unbroken Software LLC Entertainment. 40 reviews, T for teen, $4.99 to buy. No in-app purchases, no in-app ads. 4.3 average reviews. Eligible for the family library, updated September 25th, 44 megs in size, 1,000 plus installs, current version 0.25, 4.4 Android and up. Content rating teen, violence, blood, because games. Permission settings is photos, media, storage, other. Okay. Think of this as a transition system. You have a Windows computer, you have emulators installed, you have LaunchBox installed. You then pay $5, you then have the Android application installed, and it's very easy for you to ship games from your Windows-based system that are running on an emulator to your Android-based systems with literal crazy minimal effort. All this is a front-end launcher to your games. You still have to install things like RetroArch or other actual emulators, cores, if you will, to run your games. But with LaunchBox, it's very easy to transition your games from an x86 Windows environment to your Android environment with minimal effort. If you're a fan of piracy, if you're a fan of emulating old games, if you're a fan of just playing these things, it's really hard to beat LaunchBox. Watch the video from ETA Prime; he'll show you how to do it. It isn't difficult.
So would that be? Could you go from like a RetroPie to this thing?
If you're running RetroPie on your x86
Only on
desktop,
your x86.
then yes, running Windows, then you can easily transfer your games from that system to your Android system. And then the last one I'm going to throw in here is another emulator because, even though I'm paying for the Google Play Pass, it's once in a while good to see what's going on with emulators.
Thanks for rubbing that in again, Door.
No problem at all.
Triggered again.
This is called John GBAC by John Emulator Arcade. E for everyone, 547 reviews, does contain ads, does contain in-app purchases. I do believe the in-app purchase is nothing more than a thank you. I don't think there's any features that are blocked. 4.4 average reviews, updated July 12th, 2019, 7.4 megs in size, teeny tiny, 50,000 plus installs, current version 1.4, 6.0 Android and up, content rating E for everyone. In-app purchases $4.49. Again, right around that $5 mark. Permissions is photos, media, storage, Wi-Fi, and other network connections. What this is a all-in-one Game Boy emulator and a SNES emulator all in one package. So you can basically go to like archive.org, type in SNES space ROMs, download 3 gigs worth of files, or you could type in archive.org Game Boy space ROMS and download, I want to say it was around 10 gigs of ROMs, and have every game ever developed for any of those systems in any region of the world. And then you could run this application for $5 and play every one of these games ever published in the history of the world, John GBAC, and have a very good experience running Game Boy Color, Game Boy games, or Super Nintendo games on your Android device. It does have Bluetooth support, so you can map Bluetooth controllers to the controls in the games and just have it work. Surprisingly good experience is what I'll say.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and like if you're bored on your Android device and you're tired of paying for games, or you're tired of watching ads every time you beat a stage, or you're tired of, well, I can only get so far before the game makes me stop and either buy gems or buy roses or buy whatever, or wait 2 hours, then you need to get yourself some emulator action. If you cannot afford emulators because of some unseen circumstance in your life, don't hesitate. Shoot me an email, aa@podnutz.com. I'll help you out. Unlike 99% of all other podcasts out there, A, will actually respond. B, I'll actually help.
You're a good man, Door.
I'm just a man.
Um,
And my wife questions that sometimes.
This is something that I find interesting, and I don't know how accurate this list is, but if you had every single NES game, it would be 237 megabytes. Every Super Nintendo game, 1.7 gigabytes. Nintendo 64, 5.5 gigabytes. GameCube 867 gigabytes, and the Wii library 6.56 terabytes.
Well, it depends if you're doing all regions or not. If you do all regions, unfortunately, it's like 6 times more for each of them.
Right.
But most people don't want every region. But yeah, it's good stuff.
That is good stuff. I've played around with RetroPie on a Raspberry Pi 3, and that is a surprisingly fluid and good experience.
Yeah, and I'll say Logitech makes a really nice controller, wired controller that you just plug up to any RetroArch, any Logca, any emulator-based system, and it seems to pick it up just right up and just works. It's really nice.
Nice.
Good stuff. Gamepad. I'm blind. I think it says F310.
Cool. So that's how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 count here. And in honor of Mark, anybody have one more to make it a nice round 10?
Yeah, I'll bring one more from Discord. I want to thank, oh man, General. Oh, I can't remember his name, General, for the link. He has multiple names in different Discord channels. This is classic Sudoku Pro, classic Sudoku Pro, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing wrong. You know, that email has me now questioning everything. Classic Sudoku Pro, no ads. Right now it's completely free, normally priced in the US $2.99 by Cursoft. It's a board game, E for everyone, 4,582 reviews. 4.7 average reviews, eligible for the family plan, updated October 7th, 2019, 3.8 megs in size, 100,000 plus installs, current version 13.0, 4.0 Android or up. Content rating, again, E for everyone. Permissions, nothing. It literally needs no permissions. Okay. That's such a pleasant thing to see.
Wow.
I know, just for that alone, I'm literally going to wait for this to go off sale, and then I'm going to buy this just to give the developer $3. Sudoku is one of the games, if you don't understand how it works, you've spent no time looking at it. It's that simplistic to pick up how it works. Yet, it does require some deep concentration and experience to understand what patterns to look for to solve a puzzle, in air quotes, efficiently.
Yeah, Sudoku is a fantastic brain exercise, and it almost has an old Minesweeper element to it.
Exactly. Yes. And I will say, tangent, Nintendo of Japan just announced Brain Age coming out for the Nintendo Switch early next year. It's one of those neuroplasticity, complete debunked BS pseudoscience things where supposedly you can exercise your brain. Okay, really quick trivia. Ivor or Josh, what's the brain made out of?
Mush.
Cheese.
It's made out of fat. The brain is a huge blob of fat. That's all it is. It's literally 80+% fat. So to exercise the brain is one of the most hysterical things I've ever heard in my life. The idea that you could literally exercise your brain with these mental exercises and actually be smarter for any length of time is comically hysterical. But putting yourself through rhythms, putting yourself through scenarios will make you more cognizant of those scenarios in the future. So I like these kinds of number logic puzzles because I like number logic puzzles. So Sudoku to me is damn near entertaining. I'm not going to try to fool myself and to say it makes my brain smarter. You know, it's just cool.
Well, I think that just getting synopsis to fire, I think that is, well,
Synopsis.
yeah,
You mean synapses?
oh, maybe in New
Synopsis is
Zealand.
a summary of a story.
Actually, your dendrites synapse. Synapsing is the act thereof. Dendrites are the things that actually do the synapsing, and it's W4XXX because he's a ham radio operator with XXX in his title. I salute you. He's the guy that gave me the link. Thank you very much.
I think we just went off the rails there.
Yeah, well, you'll have that. Could be worse.
So for a rundown of the apps, we had 1984 Cam VHS Camcorder retro camera effects by the FFFFF Studio. Call of Duty by Activision Publishing Inc. Call of Duty, moderate your poop fare by I don't know. You have to sideload it through APK Pure. SofaScore, live scores, fixtures, and standings by SofaScore. Spiders Identifier app by Photo Camera 2019 by Mobile Minds. Time Immersive by Time Magazine. Earlynote, the time traveling messaging app by Creatilt. LaunchBox by Unbroken Software LLC. John GBAC by John Emulators, and Classic Sudoku Pro by Kersofts. And that makes 10, and that is for you, Mark.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you have any parting words there, Josh?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for their emails. It's fantastic to get emails in the inbox and just to hear from everyone. And that's why we're here. And some people even say nice things, and that's great to hear as well.
Very cool. Do you have any parting words there, Ivor?
Yeah, I just want to back Josh up on that. Just say, yeah, thanks for all the emails. It's really good to hear from you. Keep them coming.
Very cool. And I want to thank everyone for downloading. Thank everyone for subscribing. Thank everyone for going on any social platform and saying, hey, why don't you check out podnutz.com/AAA. I want to thank everyone for their Patreon support. And I want to thank everyone who does support Apple and leave reviews, or support Stitcher and leave reviews, or support Player FM and leave reviews, or any of those services and leave reviews. Thank you very much for taking the time to do that. If you want to leave us a voicemail, do not forget 7076 Podnut. And I'm going to say this. I would love it. I would literally send people money if you email other Android podcasts, tell them how great they are, and go ahead and say like one of their host name. You can say like, John or Andy or whatever their host names are. And then at the very end, just put Android, your podcast, Android App Addicts, is great. Just to see, I want to hear one podcast stumble through an email because they're incompetent and they don't actually check anything, then read it live on the air and then accidentally say Android App Addicts. I think that'd be gold.
Are you saying that we are competent, Dor?
I'm saying we're more competent than they are. Whoa. Only in relation to them. Again, do not forget AAA at podnutz.com, easiest, simplest way to contact us. And I'll say this, while the month of mental health of recovery is over, that doesn't mean that people out there do not need help. If you do need help, do not hesitate to give me a call, 443-640-8960. If you want to contact me on any other platform, do not hesitate, DoorToDoorGeek@gmail.com. We humans in America, in first world countries, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, UK, we are at the loneliest point we've ever been in our recorded history of existence. If you need to just chat with somebody or talk to somebody, don't hesitate. Contact me or contact somebody else that you know of. We should all be here for each other. And I know I'm here for everybody else. So we should do the same for everybody else. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank everyone for their support, and hope to talk to everyone again in about a week. Take it easy, everybody.
You're so articulate, Door. Drives me
Yeah,
crazy.
I just know, you know.
Plus, you give everybody else your phone number. You never even given me your phone number.
Actually,
I
I
don't even
have.
know what it is still. I don't even know what it is.
All you do is listen to shows. I've given it out now like 3 shows.
I've got your number,
I know.
but I wouldn't call you because then you call me a jerk.
You can. I just asked for notice.
Nah, I think we've got other ways to communicate.
Well, you know, that's why I like Boxer.
I've never got a Voxer message from you, Dor.
I don't know what to say.
He said he likes
I'll tell you-
Voxer. He didn't say he likes you.
Didn't say he likes using it.
Right now, the Boxer is messed up, man. Is Boxer messed up for you guys?
I don't think
No,
so.
it's fine.
No, it's completely messed up for me and like 5 or 8 other people to where Bluetooth doesn't work at all. You have to open up Boxer, go to preferences, go to settings, go to audio, and then click the Bluetooth button. Then Voxer has an exclusive lock and nothing else works on Bluetooth. But then you can hear Bluetooth audio and you can speak Bluetooth audio. And then before you leave the app, you have to go in settings, preferences, audio, and untick the Bluetooth so everything else works again with Bluetooth. It is ridiculous.
Here's another question though. Ivor, is Door's mic a bit scratchy for you?
Yes, yeah. I was just noticing that. I thought it
About
was
2
mine.
minutes ago, I heard something happen.
Yeah, it was a bit ago.
Yeah, like the last couple minutes of the show. I don't know.
But
what it
I've got a bunch of crap going on too on my straight line.
was. It's me. I don't know what it was, but something caused something to happen.
It sounds better now.
I know. Well, as soon as I did the save export, it like re-triggered something, but it did sound bad there for like.
Do you
a
think
minute.
it's an Audacity thing?
I guarantee you, Audacity picked it up.
Well, I picked it up, but you don't think it was caused by Audacity?
No,
I don't know.
no,
That's
no.
possible.
Okay. I've got an intro. You want me to do an
Cool.
intro?
Yep.
Okay. That'll do. That'll do it. This week on Android App Addicts. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Door gets arachnophobia with juggalos on drugs. Josh hears the call of Doodie while his synopsis misfires, and Ivor gets burned on AliExpress. It's all coming up on the one and only Android App Addicts.
You're a professional. I mean, Call of Duty. Are you kidding me? How great is that?
It was awesome.
Like, there's got to be some. Once they brought that up, there's got to be something.
Okay, I gotta run upstairs real quick. Just check on the kids, and if needed, punch them in their heads. They're little melon heads.
If needed.
If needed. Well, the youngest one today, we left before he left for school. We set an alarm at home, so if we forgot to call, he would go to the bus stop. He went to the bus stop, but he didn't bring his backpack. So he went to school without a backpack, and he didn't have a key to get in the house today. So
Is that the 11-year-old?
Yeah, so I wanted to bust
Yeah.
his little head. I really did.
Yeah, that sounds pretty typical for an 11-year-old boy.
I know. Okay.
I must be 11.
Give me a couple seconds. I'll be right back. And my audio should be in the next cloud.
Already? Jeez.
Yeah. Well, it's right here next to me. I mean, it's running on a Rock 64 right here.
Well, it's
That's
called
right.
Next Cloud, so it's next to you.
There you go.
You still running Linux Mint?
I am. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I'm actually at the moment, I bought a new wireless receiver, a USB wireless receiver.
Oh yeah.
And Linux doesn't like it at all. Linux does not like USB wireless for some reason.
What brand is it?
It's a Realtek one.
Huh.
It's not a weird brand or anything. It's just uses standard Realtek drivers. It came with Linux drivers installed. I just can't install them. It came with Linux drivers on a CD. I can't install them. So yeah, I was actually going to check with you, see if you had any ideas about what I could do to get it installed.
Wow, Linux Mint, it's usually plug and play.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I've got a thing at the help forum. Someone's trying to help me out there. But
oh, so you go to the forum before you ask me? Thanks, Ivor. Real friend.
Well, I know you're a busy guy. You may not want to help me. You may not have time. Building sheds and looking out for spiders.
That was great. Door got all creeped out.
He did, didn't he? I think the Juggalos on drugs was classic. It's classic Door.
It really
I'd like
is.
someone should actually go through these podcasts and pull out moments like that and put them all together in a mixtape.
You want to talk about time consuming?
Yeah, Door's greatest hits. Yeah. There was a lot of email today.
Yeah, it was also 2 weeks though.
Yeah, it's good. We kept it to 2 hours though. That was good.
Yeah.
I thought it'd go way over that.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep us on track a little bit. I don't mean to take over sometimes and
No, that's good.
things along.
Yeah, that's good. We need it. Door, have you got any suggestions for installing a wireless USB receiver into a Linux Mint?
He's going to tell you change your distro.
What do you mean wireless USB receiver?
So I've got this.
The hell is that?
It's two aerials. This one's 2.4 gigahertz. That one's 5 gigahertz.
It's a Wi-Fi adapter.
Wi-Fi adapter with that plugs into USB.
What's it called?
It's a generic. It doesn't have a brand name.
You got it off AliExpress.
It has a make and model, and then I can find the chipset out.
Well, it came with a CD that has all the Linux files I need to install it, but I just don't know how to install them.
What
It doesn't have an exe file.
Please don't say exe file when you're talking about Linux.
Well, I'm saying
It has
there's
a
no exe file.
Does it have a dot?
Can you give me a link of the place where you bought it?
I bought it on
AliExpress,
Wish.
dude.
I bought it on Wish. I know. I'm a sucker. I can't help it. Here it's got RTL 8811CU.
Ooh, RTL
8811 CU.
11 CU. Got it.
Yeah.
Real Tech.
Yeah, it's a Realtek one.
Sudo app install DKMS. Oh, Arch. Whoa.
So
The Linux forum's telling me to use the GitHub repository for this particular brand, which they say is more up to date than the drivers that came with it.
Up to date means nothing. All you want is stable.
No, that's true. Anyway, don't have to worry about it now. I just was wondering how to go about it.
802.11 AC.
Yep.
Oh, you say AC? I thought I said UC.
Apt get installed DKMS, which is the first thing you got to do. Then you got to. They even have stuff for Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, it works on Raspberry Pi as well. Say what you like about Wish, though. Their refund process is actually really good. I've never had a problem with it. Every time that you get something faulty, you just say, this is faulty, and you get an immediate refund. You don't even have to send it back.
Okay, first thing you got to do with this wireless adapter is you got to turn off all security on your router.
Really?
Yeah, and then there's the YouTube. There's the link in the YouTube chat. You got to do the apt get installed DKMS, and then you got to. It looks like edit the following.
Drive name, drive version. Yep.
Then you got to edit that file, and then by default, you're not going to have security enabled onto it. I'm pretty sure.
What is DKMS?
It's just a generic system for network connectivity.
Oh, okay.
It's what we used to have to use like 8 to 10 years ago.
Okay, thanks. I'll go through this. And
According to their website, they also delete blood cancer. dkms.org.uk.
There's a second link from something else on GitHub. And I don't know if I trust this one as much, is what I'll say. This one hasn't had updates in 7 months, 7 months. Where the first one, wow, that was a year ago. Damn. Yeah,
I'll try that.
It wants you to build drivers for it.
Yeah, I was just kind of hoping I'd plug it in and it would work.
Well, then you got to research before you buy.
That's true.
I only wish.
There's one thing it's saying, make sure secure boot is not enabled. That's kind of scary.
On the second one?
No, on this one from the Linux Mint forums.
And can you check to make sure my file came through, Tor?
Yep. 91.3 megs.
Yeah.
Mine's still uploading. It's got about 10 minutes.
All right, kids. I'm going to get going.
All right, man.
That was fun.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Now I just need to find something worth downloading from Google Play Pass.
Oh, again, thanks, Dor. You're a dick.
I'm finding nothing worth downloading. It's surprising. When I dig through it, on like the average screen of 12 icons, 10 of them we've already mentioned on this show like a year ago.
All right, as far as the Google Play or Google Pass or whatever the hell it's called, you can install whatever you want to for a certain price a month. And
no, it's like a curated list of applications that they decide are free.
Okay, so then you install every single one of them on the list, and then the next month you cancel it, Do you still have access to those apps?
Hell no.
Oh boy. Okie dokie.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure it's all connected to your subscription. Start the upload. Yeah. Man, I really don't want to go to work tomorrow. Mark used to be so mad at me
Why?
because he was mad because I've been at my job for 23 years now and I get almost 8 weeks leave every year. And he was in shock. Like, I only get 2 weeks. I'm like, well, you're a sucker. I've been where I'm at for literally 20 years. Don't you think I deserve it?
Yeah, well, you work for the government, don't you?
Yeah, but I've been there for 20 years. Don't you think I deserve it?
20 years in a government job, and you deserve all that's coming to you.
Oh, I can't believe I haven't went completely ballistically psycho and just went on a rampage.
You don't want to say that too loudly nowadays.
Oh, I've said it. I've said, you see that group over there pointing out the window at work? There's a list over there with people's names on it. So if you get there first, take care of that list for me.
Show me the nearest clock tower. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like a Billy Madison situation.
Kind of. Sure. I thought you were going, man. What the hell are you doing here?
I am leaving.
Well, I got
Okay.
work to do.
I was waiting for like some sort of intelligent conversation, but I didn't find it. so I'm
Keep
gonna take
waiting.
You'll be waiting a long time.
off. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you guys.
I have to do post-production, man.
All right. Okay. I'll see you later, guys. See you next week.
All right,
All
guys.
right. Sounds good. Later.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Later, chat room. Later, Red.
And I do have to document the apps. That's what I got to remember to do. I got to document. First, let's just go like this and say delete. That's correct. Now I'm gonna leave that called video. Now let me come here and say first link, Microsoft surprises us with new surprises us. Surprises who? No, doesn't surprise. With Surface Duo phone running Android. What a bunch of mental invalids. I'm mostly shocked, literally, with everyone out there saying that this was a shock. What the hell drug are you smoking? This was telegraphed like a year ago, literally. The Microsoft Courier was telegraphed 10 years ago. The Android stuff was telegraphed literally about a year ago. And yet people still go and say we've been surprised by this. It's amazing. It is literally amazing to me that this kind of stuff happens in 2019. And what amazes me more is the people that are okay with them saying that and clicking the links and saying, "Hey, look, I'm no genius. I'm far from a genius. I'm an idiot. I'm a blithering idiot, and I knew this stuff." This essential phone, I'm not going to lie. It might be the next big thing for all I know. Even though you can't play games on it, even though you can't watch videos on it, something tells me it actually might be able to get some kind of traction. Maybe just because it's different enough. I don't know. Maybe just because it might be affordable. That would be nice. I can tell you if the essential phone comes out and it's $300 and it's actually available to purchase in stores and they actually subsidize it correctly, I could see this actually, getting some kind of traction. 1984. This is like deep fakes before we knew what deep fakes were. Copy. This one was a Josh app. I believe completely free. No. Well, yes, it is completely free for now, but it's 99 cents. And I'm sure they make a lot of money off that 99 cents. There's been more than a couple game companies who have said when they've reduced the price of their game down to 5 cents from $15, $20, whatever, um, they've seen sales numbers skyrocket, but also profits skyrocket, which shouldn't be the case. Which just goes to show you that there is a sweet golden price where if they hit that number, their sales numbers will literally go crazy and they'll make more money, even though they're charging insanely less money. It's weird how that works when there's a number that gets hit. It's like the network effect, dare I say. And if people can get that network effect, then it doesn't matter. They make money. Even if you think, well, they're selling it for 5 cents, they shouldn't make any money. Nope, they make money. SofaScore. That's an interesting app, I will say that. To have so many different sporting apps in one interface and people like it seems hard. Seems very hard to do. And it did look easy. Spiders. The hell is wrong with that guy? Literally, there's a spider yesterday in my doorway. Easy. About half the size with his legs spread out of a dollar bill. About half the size of a dollar bill. That was not right. I just slammed the door as quick as I possibly could. Wife was mad at me. Why'd you slam the door? Giant spider. That's why. This time immersive app was actually interesting. I'm not going to lie. Nope, not going to lie. Found it actually interesting. Copy. Even though I have mixed feelings about time. But their Times Daily Brief, either way, was informative. I still subscribe. But I like the fact that I know exactly what to expect from them. And they never disappoint. This had to be an Ivor app. The Earlynote app. Copy image, paste. The AliExpress link, I have serious troubles with that link coming through. I'm shocked at how much of a hard time I'm having with that link. I mean, I can't be the only one, can I? Or like nothing is coming across. Maybe it's my ad blocker. Let me think. Let me log into my router. Let me take a peek. Go to my network settings. No, my DNS isn't even set towards it. Yet I cannot get this link to come across good at all. This was an email. Chuck. That much I know. Free. I'm just going to call it phone. I don't know what the hell else to call it. Okay, LaunchBox. This almost makes me want to run Windows. Take a look at that interface for LaunchBox. It's really nice. Really nice. And if you are literally like embedded in the emulator ecosystem and you run Windows, it's incredibly hard to have a interface that will let you easily bounce from one to the other without being painful or a bunch of hoop jumping, where LaunchBox made it easy. John BCAC. This thing actually works really good. Again, I'm shocked at how well some of these emulators work. I'm shocked at how well some of them work with Bluetooth controllers. Sudoku PRO. Literally no permissions. How often do you see that? Seriously. How often do you see that? Because I can tell you, I don't see it often at all. I'm going to bookmark this Android Police page because that was actually really good. Didn't bring it though. Okay, so now 16 links. Delete. Bang. Copy. Gedit. Paste. Replace. Replace all. One more time. Replace all. Copy. Come back up to that. Paste. Come back here. Thank you. Copy. Looking good. Okay. That looks right. That looks right. That looks right. Now let me come back to here. That's right. You are correct. Paste. No, 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 no. We're not changing that one, dummy. Discard. We're going to leave that one. But now let's go back to Studio. I got to cancel this live stream is what I got to do. But not quite yet. Videos. Edit. Bang. Paste. Kadow. Now that YouTube video that you guys are watching, if you refresh, you should see it. The description now should contain all the apps links. Now let me go to Patreon. Let me Control C, new page, and say post new video. Video. Control C, come back here. Title, Control paste. Change the 551 to 552. Helps when you actually paste it in the right place. Now we come back here. One more. Control C. Paste in the description. Looking good. Will this give me the future URL? Yes, it will. Come here. Let's see if it gives us the correct look. See, when it doesn't give me the correct preview, I will not paste it. Sam I am. So we can close that video. We can come back to the channel dashboard. 95% of the way uploading. Now, let me check my audio files, see if I got everything. I got Ivor, Josh. Good, good, good. Now let's come over here. Come over here. Okay, I'm going to kill. Oh my goodness. I'm going to kill the IRC because I got to get editing. VIR, virtual box, Control W, come back over here, share screen, bang, Tango Studio, Yeppity. Get to the editing. Computer, file system, home, Podnutz, F3, Control L, SMB, 192, 168, .2.150, public, audio, raw, convert, bang. Guess I'm gonna copy them back. So let's go like this and say those two, Control C, Control V, bang. Got two of them. There's the third one. Control C, come to the output folder, empty, input folder, delete, paste. Wait a couple seconds, load me up first, do the noise cancellation, then do some noise compression. I just tried it, didn't go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that AliExpress link. The only thing I can think is quite literally AliExpress took that posting down. So whatever Chuck linked to went down. That's the only thing I can guess. Okay, that actually looks like sane audio. The sanest audio I've seen from me in a while. So we're just going to go straight to the Dyson compression and say -18, 1, 1, enter. Now it's got to wait. And I tell you, before I had the i7 rig, this was 10 times more painful. Instead of being around a minute, it took like 3 to 5 minutes. Every time. And wow, this Raspberry Pi refresh is slow. Let me try that. So far, it looks better. Less than a minute. That is gold. Even though we almost went 2 hours and I asked them both multiple weeks, can we try to keep it under an hour? We can't keep it under an hour. Dyson compression is not as good as I wanted it to be. I'm going to have to live with it. Incoming og save overwrite. Yes. Okay. Yeah, see, I wish this peak around the 45-minute mark was a little bit less. Except for that, it's remarkably sane, but I wish that would have been less. But, have to live and learn. I'm so tempted to go upstairs and eat something else. I've been doing really good not eating a lot. Keep my caloric intake down farther than I care to say. Okay. Well, the exporting is literally taking twice as long as the Dyson compression. I didn't think it did normally. But apparently I'm wrong. Okay. I'm going to kill the live stream here soon. Almost done uploading the video. Yeah, I'm surprised at how good that looks. Looking at the streaming result here. I mean, mostly everything is legible, easy to see. You can see how right around that 45-minute mark, right before it, that audio peaks just a little bit up, which I'm sure it's a pea popping sound is what it is. Could be worse. Still 95% of the video uploaded. Okay, so now we can exit that. Do not save. Next up, we're going to do Ivor. Let's see how this audio looks. Again, I'm really impressed at how this looks looking over this stream. Can actually read all of this text, at least on desktop. Okay, wow. Quick look. Just come here, do this. C, noise removal, get profile, Control A, Control E, Alt C, noise removal. Okay, let's see how this works. Minute 20 is not too bad at all. Yeah, I will say as a side tangent, I am really tempted to buy a new phone right now. I have no idea what happened, but basically I had like gunk uh build up right where my microphone hole is on the bottom of my phone. Literally just gunk, like greasy gunk is what I'll say. Um and the greasy gunk went inside my phone to where now every now and then my microphone on my phone sounds horrible, like unbelievably, ridiculously, like 2006 quality audio, horrible. Um, and there's nothing really I can do. Even if I crack the case, crack the phone, open it up, I'm not gonna be able to get to the spot where the gunk went in the microphone hole. It's gonna take like surgery from an expert, and I'm not happy about it. Could be worse, but I'm not happy about it whatsoever. But for the next like 3-4 months, I know I have zero income to spend on such things. Oh, crikey. Okay, this is not going to be fun. Let me first come like this. Okay. Okay. Let me go like this. Oh, man, this is going to be a lot. Okay. Amplify negative 4.4 E. No, no, no. Okay, let's try this again. E. I got to stay out of that area. E. Redo. A, E. 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 R, 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 R. That was a lip smack. A. E. Oh my goodness. E. R, 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 R. R, R. R, R, R. R, R, R. Wow. E. Oh my God. E. R, 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 R. E R R R R R R R R R R R R R R R Jeez. E. This is not good. This is not good at all. This is not good. This is painful. This should not be painful. This is really painful. R R R R R R R R R R R R. Jeez. Okay. R R R R R R. If you're listening, Ivor, this is not good. This is not good at all. This is insane amounts of work. I don't get paid enough for this. Jeez, man. Yeah, this is not going to end good. This is not going to end good at all. All right, I'm going to kill the stream because this is going to take work and it's already hurting my head. I'll talk to everyone later. Take it easy.